Hello, my name is David Colton, Executive Editor at USA Today, and we're here to discuss the horrific events today in Paris, where 12 members of a satire magazine were gunned down by Islamic terrorists, including 4 cartoonists. I'm here with Brian Gallagher, the editor of our editorial page, and Rieder, who's our senior editor for matters of media and culture. Brian, let me ask you first, how do you handle a story like this, where the images themselves are so offensive to Islamic readers? How do we handle it as a media property?
Well, I think that depends a little bit on what kind of paper you are, what kind of publication you are. The publication in Paris was a satirical publication. Its mission is to use satire, which is inherently offensive. So they chose to do an issue on Islam after having done previous things in the past, and they got attacked. That's exactly what they should do, not to anger people, but to create public discussion of what's going on. For us, it's a little bit different. We're a straight news publication, so I think you look at each individual submission and decide whether it fits in your publication.
Now, we had some experience with that with the Danish cartoonists 5-6 years ago.
We did. Yeah, in 2005, we had a lot of discussion. The Danish newspaper published a dozen cartoons that were interpretations of Islam that portrayed the Prophet Muhammad. And picturing the Prophet Muhammad in the Islamic religion is considered unacceptable. As a result, there were demonstrations around the world. A couple of hundred people got killed. There was a large controversy about whether the cartoons should be published in solidarity. We decided not to publish the cartoons here as opinion, as we would the cartoons we normally publish, because we would not ordinarily publish a cartoon that was geared to be offensive to a religion. But that was, the Danish newspaper was attempting to do something else. Whether it should have been affixed to the news coverage is kind of a different issue. You know, you want people to understand what the controversy is about, and there's a better case for doing it in that context, I think.
Right. Now, so far, USA Today has decided not to show the actual image, but more discuss it and show other images. The differences in cultures are so stark. I mean, if the North Korean parody movie, The Interview, includes the assassination of a foreign leader and led to all the hacking and the terror threats against Sony and American theaters. Just a few weeks ago, Saturday Night Live had Jay Farrow come out as Kanye West, as the baby Jesus, or Yeezus in the more rap culture. Rem, how do you balance those two cultural differences?
Well, freedom of expression is so important, and there's really a place, I think, for satirical work, and you do have the tension where it is going to be offending a lot of people, but you get to the question of, should you pull your punches because of that? If there are valid points to be made, or even if there's just funny points to be made, do you kind of, that a great many people might enjoy, do you allow kind of a tyranny of expression because A, of sensitivity, or B, much worse threats that we have here? I don't think we want to get in a situation where, armed gunmen are editing newspapers and television shows and movies.
Do you think it'll have a chilling effect on legitimate commentary and satire?
Well, I hope not. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, this is pretty serious stuff with 12 journalists killed, 4 cartoonists killed. But at the same time, often there's a rallying around. I think there are people who are going to be republishing these cartoons, as you mentioned, out of solidarity. And it kind of can redouble a commitment to freedom of expression and to not backing off in the face of threats.
Mm-hmm. You know, ironically, more people may see these cartoons or get the sense of the cartoons or this magazine than without this really horrible event.
No, very true. I mean, this is a publication of about 30,000 circulation. It's perpetually on the edge of going out of business. It's not outside of France, certainly. It's not a hugely well-known operation, and their work now is certainly front and center.
Apparently, they very aggressively reprinted the Danish cartoons and have really gone after Islamic extremism. Brian, you face this on a daily basis in selection of cartoons for our newspaper and our website. How do you measure taste versus something that's really funny or pointed?
Well, it's sort of a you know it when you see it kind of thing. Sometimes somebody will select a cartoon and I'll get a look at it on a page and say, no, I think you're not realizing that something's offensive. Trying to do a cartoon about any news story where there's death is difficult. If you run a cartoon like that, you're going to get people who are going to see it in a different light, and it's better to stay away from it. But this is a whole different kind of thing. This doesn't fit the normal genre of editorial cartoons.
Well, thank you for that quick discussion about the events in Paris, and follow USA Today all day and into the week for new developments. Thank you.